So a lot of people have been asking me to do a review on the Samurai Predator so that they know whether or not it's worth buying. So we're going to go ahead and get right into that. Alright, so we're looking at the Samurai Predator. Based on pure stats alone, he is missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and let's say 2/3 because it doesn't look like a quarter and it doesn't look like half. So 5 and 2/3 of the stats are missing. Whereas we go to the Berserker, and the Berserker is missing 2, 4, and let's say that those are both quarters because they look less than the other one. So they're quarters. So we put those together, that's a half. So it's missing 4.5 rather than 5.5 or 5 and 2/3. That alone, the Samurai is worse than the Berserker in terms of stats. My opinion, the Berserker is probably the worst class. Now this is just me speaking purely based on my experiences and my playstyle. That's not saying that he's the worst for everybody. Some people much rather prefer the Berserker because of his health, and he does, I think 10% is his damage output with melee weapons. He does 10% more damage, but he's slower, yada yada. That's his passive ability. Now we don't know the Samurai's passive ability, at least I don't. If someone does know and you're watching the video, please go ahead and link me his passive abilities, and I'll try to test or confirm whether or not what you sent me is accurate. But from purely stats alone, Samurai is worse than Berserker, and I think that the Berserker is the worst class. We got the Scout, which is also missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2/4, right? 5 and 2/3. Now that would equal the Samurai in terms of stats, but we also know what they're like. We also know the Scout's passive ability. It's quicker and you're more agile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2/3. So it's got the same stats as the Scout, but again, maybe it's just playstyle. I feel like the Scout is better. And then we go to Hunter. Hunter's missing 1, 2, 3, 4 stats across the board. Now, based on purely stats alone, let's look at Elder real quick too. 1, 2. Let's combine that one with that one. So that would be 3. 3.25 stats. Elder is supposed to be the best, based on purely stats alone. Now again, playstyle plays a factor, but based on stats, let's not look at hidden abilities. We'll leave hidden abilities out for right now. The order would essentially go Samurai and Scout are tied for the worst. Berserker is the second worst. Hunter is the second best, and Elder is Elder is the best because they have 3 and like a third missing. Is that accurate to how I would rate them? No. I would rate them probably Hunter best. My opinion. I play the Alpha Predator a lot, and they have the exact same stats as the Hunter. I don't know if they have different passive abilities. I don't know what their passive abilities would be. But I'd rate Hunter the top. I'd rate Scout the second best. I'd rate Elder the third. I'd rate Berserker and Samurai interchangeable and the worst. Now that is only because the Berserker has so little stamina that if you were to leap in, try to get in like 2 or 3 melees, you're already exhausted. And you can't leap away if you start getting into trouble. Now, you can argue that Berserker's not meant for leaping in. You're supposed to, just, hulkingly sprinting. That takes stamina too. And the severe lack of stamina that this man has you're not getting away from anybody. You need to have long jump on in order to get away if you get onto second wind, because it's really, anytime I come across a Berserker, they get into second wind, they're done. I track them with such ease, they're not getting away. So that's why Berserker is probably in the lower tiers for me. Samurai is kind of right there with him. He has a little more stamina, which I'll grant him that. That is the one leg up that he has against the Berserker. But the Berserker also has the bonus to damage with melee weapons. I think it's like 10%. It used to be 20. They nerfed it to 10 from what I, read and hear on Reddit. I don't know. I don't see the Samurai being super effective. I think that he should either have more stamina or more movement speed. I think that, Samurais being the way they are, they wore bamboo, so they were, a little more agile than they would have you believe. But I think that it would make more sense to reduce the movement speed a little more, because they're big boys, as you can see. He's huge and he's got a decent amount of armor on. I would lower his movement speed and increase his stamina. That way you get more powerful strikes in like a traditional samurai would. And maybe even lower his gear to buff his health a little bit. I don't know. I just feel like the samurai itself should be better than what he is. Now, I'm not saying he's not a cool predator, and his weapon might be the difference between whether or not he's worth purchasing or not. Now, we're gonna go ahead and look at that right now. I'll go ahead and post the stats probably this way on the left side of the screen where the comment bar is, because I'm not streaming right now. I'm just making a video. But the katana is super interesting. So it has this bleeding effect, and the bleeding effect doesn't stack, but it does reset. So if you get hit 3 times, and let's say each time there's like a space in between each hit, you're taking those hits, and as soon as you take the hit, you start bleeding for 15 damage. That's the cap of damage. But if you get hit again with that second strike, it resets to the top of that 15, and then it ticks down again. And then you get hit again, and it starts to the top. So you can end up getting, like, if someone were to quick strike you 3 times, you'd probably end up taking 17 bleeding damage, because there's like a second in between each landed hit. But the katana's damage is right there. The first strike, 26 damage. If they land a double combo, it's 56 damage. And if they land a triple combo, it's 112 damage. Now, what's interesting about the katana is they implemented a new way of attacking as well. If you hit the scope button like you were scoping with the cannon, you actually do a kind of poke or stab type of attack instead. You do 35 damage with still 15 bleed. You still get that bleed effect. And then it also has a double hit, which does 88 damage if you land both strikes, which I think is really interesting. I like the idea that there are different types of strikes that you can utilize. Now, I've heard that the stab is unparryable, and I don't believe it. I'm pretty sure I've parried 1 or 2 myself, though I have yet to be parried, and I wasn't recording when I did parry. I mean, I could test it out if you guys want me to do that, but as of right now, yeah, it's 26 damage, 56 damage if you land both. It's not like the second strike alone is 56. And then 12 damage. And every single time, the bleed has been 15 damage across the board. So those are the damage outputs for the katana. In terms of customization, well, I'll go ahead and I'll go over the shades real quick. So when you go ahead and you change the blade's color, it kind of dictates the, normal part, but it mostly just dictates that bottom part and a little bit of the hilt and pommel. But these are it. Like, it's not a huge amount of customization ability. Systemic, again, it's a trash mythic, but it's there. So in terms of appearance, though, There's only one body type, just like all of the other DLC characters that we've had. The Elder, the Alpha, the Jungle Hunter. There's one body type. It's male. As you can see, his wrist blade is different, and his shoulder cannon is actually tucked away, and it pops out when you go to use it. In terms of predlocks, you get this ponytail style. It's a top knot, and they got different types of top knots. It's the exact same patterns as the ones above for thick and thinner, but they're just in a top knot. That one's not bad. Again, not bad. That one's fine. But you can put the, Alpha Predator predlocks on them if you have the Alpha Predator, and you can put the Elder predlocks on them. Which is interesting because I think they took away the ability to put the Elder predlocks and the Alpha predlocks on non-Elders. So like the Scout, Hunter, and Berserker, you can't change the predlocks to an Elder anymore or an Alpha. In terms of body, what did I do? Oh, I didn't do mask. So with the mask, there are the samurai. I like some of the masks. I'm not a fan of all of them. A lot of people like to run Ghost. Shadow is another one that people enjoy. I think this one doesn't look bad. It just wouldn't really go well with a lot of armor styles. That one's fine. It kind of looks like systemic. Marine would look good. I think this one's a little goofy. But see, this is what I'm talking about. The mythicals are so bad. Why are they goofy? I'd rather have something that I want to get. And then platinum looks nice. And gold, obviously. I'll make them all gold because the gold looks really nice. And then in terms of war paint, they added the fact that you can change the color on war paints. Amazing. They should have had this in the beginning because nobody wants to run around with random orange or purple. Like, why? You should make war paints that are, user-friendly. Skin patterns. You do get to change the skin patterns, which, you don't get to see a lot of skin. It's really just the face. Even the neck is coated up and stuff. So we'll go ahead and we'll do a quick overview of all of them. I don't have the money to buy these right now, so we're not going to go as in depth. In reality, all you got to do is look at my last video about the Alpha Predator, or just go on your own Hunter Predator and change through the styles, and you'll see exactly what you can put on the samurai. Now here's there are some cool customization options in terms of armor. And I'm sure you'll notice, when I just turn them around, that the trophy is in a different location than it usually is, and we'll get to that. Again, Ghost, a lot of people enjoy. Same with Shadow. I really enjoy Shadow. I think it looks nice. Sage. Systemic. That actually looks really nice. Too bad it doesn't on the normal, like for the weapons. Marine. See, we're in the weird patterns that don't necessarily look good. Obsidian, which here is black, but on the weapons it's bright red. And then we get to, like, what is this? This is mythical? Why? Okay, this one I kind of get because it's got the flower-ish patterns. It's like, kind of like a Japanese culture. But, Jesus. not a fan of these mythics. I don't want to pack these. And then you got the platinum. And the gold. Now again, I think that the gold on gold for the samurai looks really nice. That's what he would look like. I don't think that's a bad look. You get to level 150 and then you have a decently looking predator. Now, a lot of people don't like the fact that his little wrist blades look shorter than usual. It's not a big deal. And then in terms of trophies, right? So we got on the skull section, it's on the lower back. Or mid back. Sorry, not lower. And then we go here, and the Ottoman dagger. Now, again, I don't have a lot of trophies, but the Ottoman dagger is tucked in, and I really like the way it looks when it's tucked in like that. And then the Viking axe again. Like, where did it go? Why does it disappear? Why is it clipped inside the body in the armor? I put it in the middle of the back, like the skulls. That would have been so much better. But in terms of stats, he's not amazing. Actually, pretty underwhelming. The katana is probably the best selling point, other than the customization options. He gets a decent amount of gear. He gets 10, so he can do healing kits, bear traps, just like a hunter, or he could do healing kit, motion sensor, audio decoy, like I have set up. And he gets 10 perks. I don't know. I personally, I was going to get him anyways. I was excited to get him. But if I was just an average player who didn't really care, I wouldn't buy him just for the katana. I wouldn't even really buy him to use him. I would save my money and wait for the next DLC guy to come out. And I would wait for the katana to come out for free. It's going to be annoying to see a lot of predators using it and be like, I want to use it. It has decent stats, and the bleeding effect is really interesting. Like, imagine hit and running, like, once and then leaping, and then hit coming back, and then once and then leaping, and just letting them slowly but surely bleed out. I think that's a really cool idea, but he doesn't have the stamina for that. And he doesn't have the movement speed to, like, I don't know. That's just not my play style, and I would not spend the money again to get him. I mean, if I bought another account on PC, I'd get the Alpha Predator again, I'd get the Elder by, working my ass off, and I would work my ass off, obviously, to get the other ones. I don't think I would buy him again. But that's just me. There you guys have it. My personal opinion on the Samurai Predator. Backed up with a little bit of fact, but in my opinion, he's not a good class. He's not worth getting to play unless you enjoy the samurai look and you want to get the katana and you're okay with having a character who's not as good as some of the characters that come for free. Not all of them are going to be equal and better than the original. You don't want the game to be pay to win. It's a different style of play, and it's just not my style. A lot of people enjoy the Samurai, and a lot of people were running it when it first came out. So, clearly, and they might have just been testing it out, but clearly there is some, hope for the Samurai Predator. A lot of people do enjoy the class. That's just not me. I like to be more agile. I like to be able to move around more. And I like to be able to get in a lot of melee hits when I want to melee. And with a low amount of stamina, like with the Berserker. I don't think the Berserker is an amazing class at all. I think the Scout is much better. Even though, statistically, the Berserker is better than the Scout. And the Scout would be on par with the Samurai class. But in my opinion, I don't think that the gear slots or the perk slots make up for the lack of stamina. I think that gear is overrated, and the Scout does just fine with a set of healing. You could take away the Scout's entire arsenal of gear except for healing kits, and I still think, because what you can get motion sensor and audio decoys, or you can do healing kit and audio decoy, or you can do bear traps and audio decoys. I think that if you were to only give the scout five gear points, and only, they only chose medkit, I still think that the scout would be one of my top class options because of the stamina. I think that stamina and the ability to get away, the ability to do melee damage when you need to, is like get in, get out. I think that is so much better for the Predator than a shit ton of health. Because if you are getting lit up as a scout, you can leap away, kill a pig, eat it, leap back. And in my last video, you were able to leap as the... I was playing as a scout, and I was leaping with long jump. I was able to make up over about half the map. Any map, doesn't matter. About half the map with, as the fire team was able to mud up. That's insane. They mudded up, and I was practically at their doorstep. They were just leaving the spawn area, and I was leaping to them and getting there. There's just no competition. There's no way that the scout would be considered worse than the berserker. The berserker, it takes him a minute and a half to get to the fire team. Leap, 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 leap. I'm there. That's insane. So, for me, Samurai just isn't where it's at. I'd much rather play Alpha. I'd rather play Hunter. I'd rather play Scout. I'd rather play Elder. I'd rather play the Samurai than Berserker. But that's not saying much. So, thank you all for watching. You guys were asking about this, so here's my opinion. That's what I think of the Samurai Predator. Go ahead and leave a like, comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Let me know. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to be a part of future videos. And if you tell me what you want to see, I'll make sure to make it happen. Thank you.